I get quite a lot of messages about how I make the muck. Why is it always so creamy? Basically, for a good mix, I believe it needs to be gauged, and you need to be finding out the exact amount of water it needs for you to not have to add any by the end. So it will look dry once it's all in there, but once it's been turning, I think a good gauge takes between 15 minutes, about 15 minutes. 20 minutes is a bit on the long side. 10 minutes is probably just a little bit too quick. I find 15 minutes turning, if it's a good gauge, because if you bucket it, you know that you've got the same amount of sand and cement every single time. Whereas when you get your hod carriers who are lobbing in shovelfuls, like 20 shovelfuls, or a 16 shovelfuls, or whatever it is they're throwing in, they're so inconsistent that they have to just chuck water in, they have to sort of guess it. And I think that because they don't know exactly how much water to put in at the start, they're sort of chucking it in and sort of rushing it out. And I think that's a lot of the problem when it comes to shit muck, is not putting the right amount in. And it's no quicker to shovel it in, because yes, you'll get it in there quicker, but it still takes the same amount of time to knock up a good gauge for it turning in there. And what I find is when you put a bucket in, because you've got to fill a bucket up, it actually lets your sand knock up for a little minute before you lob in the next quick load of sand in. Like a bad mix will be knocked up within about 5 minutes. People say, oh, I can chuck a mix in 5 minutes and it's out. Yeah, but it'll be absolutely dog shit. So a good gauge is literally, I use Optimix. It's good enough. I'll use like 20 mil or whatever it is, full cap for a whole gauge, and we'll get 2 5-and-1s in there. For the concretes we're doing, 5-and-1's a good mix. Celcons, 6-and-1, maybe even 7-and-1. Brickworks usually 5-and-1. But yeah, we're doing 5-and-1s. We can get 2 5-and-1s in there, lovely. So, and then we can pour out a full bin. We've got the Bell 150 XT, the electric mixer. I've got that for myself for jobs like this now, so I can then take it to the next job and stuff like that. And it's literally perfect, because you can leave a whole gauge in there. After you've chucked a gauge in, you can leave the gauge in there. George chucks it in, and then what he'll do is he'll put a timer on for 15 minutes. He'll come back to it and it's done. He'll turn it off and it's in there. And then once that tub's done up the top, he'll send it down, tip it straight out, up you go, and then there you go. But yeah, I'm going to chuck one in this morning because it's Monday and they don't usually get here till about 7:30 sometimes, depending on traffic, because it's a nightmare in the morning. We come the night before and stay just on site, or just, yeah. But depending on traffic, Tom might not get here till 7:30, and then I've got to wait for them to not muck up. I don't usually chuck one in, but I'm feeling energetic today because I had a good weekend. See how it looks really dry in there? It needs time to all mix through and let the water and the feb aerate. So I'm going to leave that for 15 minutes. So if you can hear that, that's sticking. That means the workability's right. Now you need to make sure it's workable now, but I just use a trowel just to have a feel. That still feels a bit stiff to me, so now I'll start adding water to it. Right, that's looking good to me now. Feels nice on the trowel, nice and sticky, sticks like a dream. Probably a little bit too much feather, if I'm honest. Only tipping half out because I want to make sure that it's knocked up at the back as well and it's not too stiff at the back, because it's deceiving how much is what's actually knocked up at the back and what's not. As well, I like to go by the paddles. It's going through the paddles by about the length of my hand, which is about right. For heavy concrete, you want it about half your hand. For brickwork, you want it for the full length of your hand. Celcon's probably a little bit more. is where we're at. We've done all the plate on here. This middle walls have all got to be taken up a bit higher. That is the finished height of that wall. That is the finished height. That height there is where that wall goes to as well. We've got a couple of the internal gables up. I made up a dummy frame. Took another one up over there. That's the finished height of this wall. We're just yeah, taking up around the outside now. They put all the fucking membrane on, and we've got built. Oh, it's just a pain in the arse. It's just not how you do it. And down there, we've got gables all inside to build, and it's going to be absolutely pitch black inside. You look beautiful, mate. You look beautiful. I like your hat as well. Yeah. Fucking hell, SB Tools. Look, talking about SB Tools, they dropped off this fucking lovely. Mate, you look absolutely adorable in that. Your dad would be proud. I knew there's a feminine side in you. Right, so this is, I haven't used it obviously, this is BT's masonry saw. It is a 4-stroke petrol engine, Honda engine. I can't wait to have a go on it. Does it compare to that one? I don't know if you can see the size difference. Oh, it's just more of an engine, isn't it? But it's much higher off the ground. I don't know if, well, I wouldn't say much higher, but can't really tell in the video. So yeah, we're going to be having a go with this at some point. Maybe not today, but another day. So this is the muck. This isn't actually my gauge, this is George's. I think this is actually a bit better than my one, wasn't it?
Yeah, yours is that one down there.
That's from this morning. But yeah, you can see it's just nice. But you can just see that it's nice and creamy, nice and workable. Spreads really well. Probably a little bit too soft, but it's all right for these blocks, to be honest. Oh.
Oh, that's lovely and smooth, isn't it?
I don't like to pert this one usually because the fitz brick in there, I don't like to catch the line. So I usually just pert the first one. Falls into place. You ain't gonna be no good if you ain't got good muck and a good labourer.